Another village falls. Russia says its forces have captured another settlement in eastern Ukraine. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, troops from the center group of forces have taken control of the village of Kutuzovka in Ukraine's Donetsk region following offensive operations. The announcement marks the latest in a series of Russian claims about territorial gains in eastern Ukraine, where some of the war's fiercest fighting continues. However, Ukraine has not confirmed the claim. As of now, Kyiv has not publicly commented on the reported capture of Kutuzovka. That means the situation remains difficult to independently verify. Why Donetsk matters? To understand why this village matters, we need to understand the bigger battlefield. Donetsk is one of the 4 Ukrainian regions that Russia claims to have annexed, alongside Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kherson. But despite those claims, Russia still does not fully control Donetsk. That is why Moscow continues offensive operations across the region. Every village, road junction, and defensive position matters, because control of these areas can improve supply lines, strengthen defensive positions, and create opportunities for future advances. For Russia, the long-term objective remains the complete capture of Donetsk. The war of small advances, the Ukraine war, is no longer defined by rapid offensives. Instead, much of the fighting now revolves around incremental gains. Villages that few people had heard of before the war have become important military objectives. Kutuzovka is the latest example. While a single village may not dramatically change the front line, a series of small gains can gradually shift the battlefield over time. That is why both sides continue to commit significant resources to battles over relatively small settlements. The war has increasingly become one of attrition, where progress is measured in kilometers rather than hundreds of kilometers. Ukraine looks toward the Black Sea while Russia focused on developments in Donetsk. Ukraine highlighted a different issue. Ukraine's commander-in-chief, General Oleksandr Syrsky, held a phone conversation with Romania's chief of defense, General Georgita Vlad. According to Ukraine's general staff, the discussion focused on security developments in the Black Sea region. The two military leaders discussed monitoring the security environment, information sharing, and strengthening cooperation between their armed forces. This is significant because the Black Sea remains one of the most strategically important theaters of the war. Why the Black Sea is important? The Black Sea serves as a critical route for trade, military operations, and regional security. For Ukraine, maintaining access to maritime trade routes is essential for its economy. For Russia, the Black Sea provides strategic depth and access to key naval facilities. Romania, a NATO member, sits directly on the western shore of the Black Sea and has become an increasingly important partner for Ukraine since the war began. As security concerns continue to grow, cooperation between Ukraine and neighboring countries has become a major part of Kyiv's strategy. A wider regional contest, the call between Ukrainian and Romanian military leaders, highlights a broader reality. The war is no longer confined to the front lines in eastern Ukraine. It affects security across the wider Black Sea region. Countries bordering the Black Sea are closely monitoring military developments, shipping routes, drone attacks, and potential threats to regional stability. As a result, intelligence sharing and military coordination have become increasingly important. What happens next? For now, the most immediate question is whether Russia's claim about Kutuzovka can be independently confirmed. If the village has indeed fallen, it would represent another step in Moscow's broader effort to secure full control of Donetsk. At the same time, Ukraine continues working to strengthen international partnerships and improve coordination with neighboring countries, particularly in the Black Sea region. The bottom line, Russia says it has captured another village in Donetsk. Ukraine has not confirmed the claim. But regardless of the outcome, the announcement highlights two realities of the war. First, the fighting in eastern Ukraine remains intense, with both sides continuing to battle for small but strategically important settlements. Second, the conflict is increasingly connected to a wider regional security environment stretching far beyond the front lines. As the war continues, developments in places like Donetsk and the Black Sea will remain closely linked to the future course of the conflict.